Let's go, Georgia fans. We did so many film studies over the past couple of weeks on all the new Georgia skill position players. Well, today honestly couldn't have gone better for all of them, but honestly, this was the play of the day right here. Big 73 coming around on this DB. Look at this. Boom! Okay? Give the DB a lot of credit for sticking in there. 73 stares him down. Obviously, Kirby's going to say in the next film review, don't just stare him down. Look for someone else to block because then he gets crushed right there. That could have been a block, but still, really good run right there from Nate Frazier. And I think the guy outside of Gunnar Stockton that was under the most pressure in this game was Zachariah Branch. Obviously, quite a few USC fans turned my Zachariah Branch film review, Branch film review into a pretty big one for us. And honestly, he looked like he had a lot of juice. You could see he breaks off the tackle of a defensive tackle on the screen, and now he's just making guys miss, falling forward for extra yards, looking like a true Uno right here. Man, I would say there's probably 15, 20 yards he picked up on his own special tackle breaking ability. Two, I love the fact that Kirby decided to go for it. I think this is, though, a pretty clear go for it situation. You run an option away from the strength call. You had the orbit motion right there from the receiver. Gunnar Stockton fakes the pitch and honestly gets all three of these defenders going towards the running back. Good job by Gunnar, who ran unfreaking believably well in this game to pick up all these extra yards. Really, really, really good stuff. And then we get a good old-fashioned pitch play from under center. I love the Bobo offense just because he gets under center. We need to bring this back in our society, and you have the extra puller here, Lawson Lucky. Once again, the big story, how do you replace Jared Wilson, Dylan Fairchild? Man, that's nasty. Abso-freaking-lutely nasty stuff right there by number 56, Micah Morris. Woo! You can't do it that much better than that. We know Monroe Freeling could play. That's a good block right there from Humphrey. And honestly, all we need is one tackle broken. We get it. Shout out Mableton, Georgia, 2-0 with the tutty. So let's go to drive number 2. And Georgia fans, if you don't mind, please hit that subscribe and like button. If you do it, I'll do Bulldog film studies for the rest of eternity. Well, I don't know if eternity is the right way to describe it. So this honestly is some really interesting stuff. A lot of pre-snap motions here. Gives the defense a lot to look at. And guess what you decide to do? After motioning the tight end, you bring him back here on the split zone action. And honestly, I'm always a big fan of a motion from the receiver being done before a play. It just gives the defense something else to look at. You pull it here, and obviously Gunnar has the choice of running it himself or just slipping it here to Oscar Delp. Man, look at all that space. That's some good stuff. Mike Bobo under a lot of pressure. That Georgia offense was indeed very clunky last year, and you get a nice gain. This will get picked apart by quite a few. You're in pistol, you fake the outside zone handoff, and, well, the protection gets beat right up the gut from a faster blitzer. Okay, you can see the guard right here trailing. And honestly, there's no underneath options. You're still in the pocket. So I don't mind essentially throwing up an arm punt here. I know that will be semi-controversial, but throw it up. Let's just see what happens. And, well, it was incomplete. And this is some really, really, really good play calling right here, okay? Once again, another blitz from, I almost said Memphis, Marshall here. And guess what? If they're in man-to-man and you run these crossers where Delp runs through here to screen essentially this DB on number 1, Zachariah Branch, you want to hit this all day, every day. Now, could this have been released a half second sooner on this 3rd and 5? Maybe so. You QB experts out there, let me know. But the ball accuracy itself was really good. We do know Gunnar Stockton does have velocity, so he throws a really nice throw. One thing I will say about Branch, he made a lot of guys miss in his first couple of catches, and he's able to fall forward for a few extra yards. So let's have a conversation about Gunnar Stockton's playmaking ability. We get a play action fake right here. This is supposed to be a little tight end leak, and guess what? It gets picked up, and Stockton doesn't like it, all right? So is this something he can get away with in an actual SEC game? Maybe so. One thing you never should do as a defensive lineman is turn your back to the QB like that. And guess what? Stockton is able to break contain right here and pick up a pretty nice chunk. I mean, he is a very powerful runner, falls forward for a gain of 7. So now it's 4th and 1. And man, Stockton, pretty easy but gutsy zone read pull. Does 33 still get there off the push alone? Maybe he does, but Stockton does indeed pull it. I would have loved to have seen this backside contain actually carry out his assignment. This is really, really, really bad football IQ right here. Maybe he was thinking that the end was supposed to play the QB the entire time. He crashes down, so the new contain guy needs to play the QB. A better coach defense or just a better player in general might actually be here to make this play. But you see his back is turned. Just not, it's more bad football than good, but a good pull by Gunnar Stockton makes that defender miss, and he is indeed able to score. Obviously, this is Marshall, but I will say Mike Bobo really opened up a few bags of tricks. So once again, this jet sweep motion just carries so much weight with this defense. Then, after the jet sweep motion, the tight end who's pinned, this is a good low fire off right here. Oscar Delp selling that this could be a run block. Instead, he is leaking down the field. The safety nor the corner picks up Oscar Delp. You can see that the safety probably was responsible. And now, I will say, a better throw that forces Oscar Delp to not stop picks up more yardage, but then again, we also don't want to overthrow him in that spot. So this will be a big key. Can the Georgia run game get going? You know, this is really good stuff by, the Marshall linebackers playing downhill, filling in the holes. So can you get more push on standard downs? It's going to be key this year for the Dogs. All right, so you get a blocked punt. Let's talk about this run game. Obviously, one big thing you're going to see with Georgia is pre-snap motion, okay? You get a nice little handoff here. 55, you want this to be a little bit flatter coming across. And who is 55? One of you guys correct me down below. Bo Hughley, 6'7", 295. So it's hard for a 6'7" offensive tackle to be good coming cross field, having to block a blitzing edge player, or is this a DB? I don't know. But obviously in this spot, we still want it to be flat. All right, you can see how he loops this right here, and by looping instead of being flat, forces him to get into the path of the RB right here, and it gets a little choppy. He still, though, needed to complete this block, but it could have been a little bit cleaner. The timing, all of it was just off, but because the blocking everywhere else was so good, you're still able to squirt through and get a nice gain. So I don't know who Marshall's new defensive coordinator is, but this should have been a very simple fix on zone read pulls, okay? We've already seen them make this mistake once, right, where you're reading the backside in. If the end crashes down and there's another DB behind it, you've got to be the one that plays the quarterback, right? They've been killing you with this pull every single time. This will not work versus better SEC competition. And what does the DB do? He looks at the running back. Again, your job is simple. Just man the quarterback. So once again, that's more bad defense than anything else, right? It's pretty simple install, and obviously you knew going into this game that Georgia was going to zone read. So Kirby is going to be very frustrated with his run blocking in the first half versus Marshall. Get a few misses right here. The right tackle on this down block, you could see just gets thrown to the right side by the DT. And SEC DT is probably making that play right there. You do get a good on this counter GY. You do get a good kick out right here Boom. Okay, that's good stuff. Now, this is freshman Ethan Barber pulling around. If you're going to play tight end at Georgia, you got to be able to block some. Nasty whiff in space right there, but still, it was good enough. It wasn't the absolute worst, but because Nate Frazier has some juice, he's able to fall forward for a nice gain. Okay, so now we get to this second down run, and this is just a little simple zone handoff. Running back decides to bounce, which he should have done here, and now he's got to make this corner miss. He tries to bounce outside of him, and, well, that's just not doing anything for Georgia here. And honestly, some of this was just Georgia trying to get the run game fixed. It's hard to run versus linebackers that are flying this hard down. But you're trying to run that same play you just saw a minute ago with Nate Frazier, and this time the tight end does an okay job here. He gets met in the hole, and because he gets helicoptered in the air, it does slow his running back down. And once again, the right tackle blocking down right here can't get a good enough block right here. It gets shed, and it's a short-ish gain, if anything. Georgia fans, let me know if you want to see a second-half film study and a 2-minute drive film study. I really liked Gunner's poise in the 2-minute after this. But let's talk about this play. This was something we actually brought up in the Texas film study with Gunner Stockton. I hate on 3rd and long not running any end breakers, any short hitches or anything like that, because your protection has to be really good and defenders are just going to be sitting at the sticks. Maybe he should have worked to the receiver on the left hash. I don't know. But he gets hit. This ball is floated a little too high, and you have to punt. All right. So, once again, Dog fans, I appreciate all the support. It is Power Hour SEC. Boom. Tonight, we're doing chili.